The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
Today's mission is quite simple should you choose to accept it. Climb the ladder, claim the briefcase, punch your ticket towards the ultimate opportunity of winning a championship. It is once again that time to see who's willing to go to the highest risk to seize the ultimate prize as we come together to simply predict the next PLE of WWE. Welcome everybody to our discussion of Money in the Bank. Let's freaking go. Hello everybody and welcome once again to Simply Predicting. You know what this is from the Simple Man, the Simple Brand, the voice, the jam, and forever great for professional wrestling. Damn it. My name is Noel Fox, and as always, my wonderful friends here in the City Predicting community, Jimmy Multiverse Media and NoDQ Galaxy. I have my comments on all things WWE and his NXT. Damn it, the regular wrestling JJ Williams. He predicts everything. Christopher Rotz, Mr. Reliable Walter Cruz, and the Dominguez is the MVPs, the Japanese multiverse of media, Arlene and Emmanuel Dominguez. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in here on the chat. Of course, whether you're watching this live or on demand, please subscribe, comment, tell a friend. And if you want to dictate the conversation, go ahead to dictate, super chat, Kazing Studios, Jeff Meacham, Media, Great Cherry Brand, super chat. Truly as simple as that. Your opinions do matter too, so please let us know your predictions. Stay on topic. And if you haven't filled them out already, we're all over my social medias, all over NoDQ's social medias. And there also will be a link, of course, to the form during this chat as well, while the video is taking place too. That being said, let's go around and give everybody his initial thoughts before we get right into it. And I'm just going to go right around the horn as I am the moderator of this madness, as always. God help me. Yeah, it's once again our time. It's a WPLE night. How you feeling tonight about Money in the Bank? Good to see you once again, my friend.
Good to be seen as always. I'm looking forward to the show. It's going to be a really action-packed event. The ladder matches are always very unpredictable. You never know what could happen, who could get inserted. You know, we were talking before we hit live about Austin Theory being inserted a couple years ago, last minute. You know, never really know what could happen there. Looking forward to Trish Stratus being our hostess with the mostest this evening.
Toronto's own. All right, fair enough.
Should be a very fun evening.
Now, these WPLEs during the Paul Jason Beck era have certainly been quality entertainment, wrestling-wise. I call that in WWE, for me, to say the least. Shout out to Josh Mansfield real quick with the $2 super chat.
We did get a quick super chat.
Yep.
Go ahead, read that, Noah.
All right, fine. Again. Go, Noah. Chase, you welcomes you. I believe in Joe Hendry. Good on you. All right, you're mutual with me right now, Harvey Dent. All right, that being said, Christopher Rotz, good to see you once again. Of course, one of my fellow horsemen of Redemption. Shout out to Mark Riven and Jeff Chadwick. Looking forward to our annual summit for SummerSlam. Day and time to be determined. But Chris, good to see you. How you feel about Money in the Bank tonight, pal?
Hey guys, I'm feeling excited for Money in the Bank. I'll be going over a buddy's house tonight for the event with my brother. It's going to be a fun time. This is night 2 of 3 in Toronto. We got NXT Heat Wave tomorrow. Can't wait to whoop that trick tomorrow night. But overall, tonight's going to be a fun night, giving us an 8 out of 10. And say yeah to NoDQ.com. And good luck to everybody that is still competing in the WWE Predictions League.
All right, well said, my friend. And again, right now, as I'll put a graphic up, I'm sure later, as I just checked it, you are leading. We'll see how long that keeps up. And again, technical difficulties, he'll be right back. He was re-rolling by the shirt today. That being said, what's far more reliable than the technology you might deal with when it comes to this high desert heat in California, even though he's out there in a different area, it's good to have Mr. Reliable, Reliable Walter Cruz here, part of City Predicting. Walter, how are you? How you feel about Money in the Bank tonight?
I'm good. I'm feeling great about it. I need these. I need to creep up in the standings there. So I need a clean sweep. But I'm feeling about a 10 for the entire weekend. We got a heat wave. We got Collision. We got so much stuff going on, and we're busy here at Jeff Beecham Network. So I'm at a 10 for the entire weekend, to be honest.
Good on you. I love that. And again, folks, I just posted a link to the form in the chat, so you should be able to click that and get your picks in as we bring back this gentleman. Before I go to Dominguez Assiz real quick, mic check, video check. JJ, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Can hear you perfectly fine. Not a single bit of delay at all. We should be all right. All right, then. Good deal. And as we continue down these initial festivities, Arlene, good to see you once again. And yes, you are still being your brother, as I said. In fact, all these fine people here, outside of me and JJ and Walter, who are on the team, the other three, they're in the top 25 of the 80 plus of you in the WPLE Predictions League. Keep it up, folks. That being said, Arlene, how you feel about Money in the Bank tonight?
I'm feeling good. I kind of had my picks kind of slated, but then Triple H said there was going to be some surprises, so I'm like, damn it. I feel like some of these picks are not going to be so simple.
What's simple anymore? Just saying. That's part of the fun,
so I'm like, let's see. I think I'm trying to think of how Triple H is thinking, and maybe I think some of my picks are going to end up changing as a result, but we'll see what happens.
That's fair. Again, Triple H said himself during the WrestleMania documentary, if the GPS tells you how you get to the destination, but he already has the destination in mind, we're just along for the ride. The destination, does it conclude at Money in the Bank? Does it go further to SummerSlam? Does it go all the way back to WrestleMania? Only time will tell. That being said, as always, and I like saying that because sometimes I just like repeating it because it's always fun seeing how these two butt heads at each other and sometimes go off each other. Emmanuel, good to see you once again. How you feel about Money in the Bank tonight?
Pretty good. This is the most anticipated, Money in the Bank in a while because, there's so many two options to like a 50-50 coin flip and predictions league, like you want those points. You want to be right because, like, you don't want to have that 1 point instead of those 2 points. So there's one of those things like, let's hope that there's two pay-per-views outshines the Monday Night Raw, NXT, and SmackDown shows this week because they were, lackluster per se and not that interesting. But congratulations to DIY. I wish that was a pay-per-view moment, not a SmackDown moment, but it is what it is.
That's fair. And again, lightning struck twice for them in Toronto when you figure about their great match with the Revival and NXT TakeOver at Toronto. All the Canadians are going to be out during this weekend, not just tonight, but also at Heat Wave. But that being said, good stuff, Emmanuel, and good thoughts. And yes, congratulations to John Gallo and Tommaso Ciampa, DIY. They did it their way. We'll see who does it their way tonight. That being said, without further ado, we got everyone's initial thoughts. We got the initial banter out of the way, rules of conduct, decorum, the forms in the chat. I highlighted who's at the top of the predictions list, by the way, too. So without further ado, gentlemen, lady, and chat, let's get right into it. And thank everybody watching across all outlets. So yes, it is once again that time to seize the ultimate chance to win a prize in WWE Money in the Bank. And of course, that takes place tonight on the Peacock. And the kickoff is a 2-hour kickoff show, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with an actual start at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But again, for those that are wondering, in case you didn't watch SmackDown or something prior to today, Emmanuel, just a little bit of forewarning. Might want to consider that people actually do DVR stuff and watch it the next day. But again, I don't hold it against you. But again, there's also no bigger for me because YouTube's also a thing, and what does the internet keep sacred? All right, so that being said, JJ, you know how we do things ever since City Predicting became a joint venture here in the multiverse of media. We always go based on it. You and the other dad always on wrestling, Jeff Mother effing Meacham. Again, shout out to Boss Man. Please get some rest and take care, my friend. If you are booking this, what would be your opening match? Let's get right into this.
Well, I went ahead and threw this match first, not because it's the one I would jerk the curtain with, but because of something that was said by one of the competitors within the match about how he plans to win and cash in on the same evening. So let's start right off with the men's Money in the Bank match.
I think it makes perfect sense because I truly do think they're going to open tonight with a Money in the Bank match. And I actually am leaning more towards the men because I know exactly what you're talking about. So, yes, let's go right into it. And thank you, Mike Nixon. Shout out to Statboy Mikey, by the way. Check him out on the Sports Bar. All right, men's Money in the Bank field is as follows, folks. And again, everybody, here's how we're going to do it. We're going to go around the horn and get everybody's picks. Everyone gets 2 picks. Primary worth 2, secondary worth 1. Each of these men qualified. Here is your field. It is, say it with me, L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Well done, everybody. Drew McIntyre, him, Carmelo Hayes, Chad Gable, Jey Uso, and La Sombra Andrade. So, as we know, the thing about this match that's interesting is only one of these men is previously been a world champion in WWE. None of the other men have. We also have a couple of debuts here also in this field. Now, I know that there's been a lot of talk concerning Wyatt Six, the heel versus face, the ongoing narrative that might literally be the tail-end story of the entire night of Money in the Bank. But we also know that sometimes you literally can't bet against him because him don't usually miss. For me, this is one of those fields that feels like anybody can surprise us and win this with so many outside factors that also could be going up against anybody as well. So, chat, let your predictions be known as we go around the horn and get everybody's thoughts. And it's only fitting that I start with going clockwise. JJ, what are your 2 picks to win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match? The floor is yours.
Well, I did watch the no DQ predictions, and I'm not going to let their stuff sway me, but Aaron did discuss how Drew is the odds-on favorite here. They mentioned how Jay is probably going to be involved with the bootleg bloodline angle. So do you really want to give him the briefcase when he's going to be entering into that feud? And the same kind of holds with Chad Gable, how he's got the Wyatt Six thing going on. Do you want to give him the briefcase with everything he's got? And is he even going to make it to the match? Or will the Wyatt Six attack him prior to going in? Despite Drew being the odds-on favorite, something tells me that he's going to get punked again tonight.
I like what he did there.
I could see Drew climbing the ladder. He's at the top. He's about to grab the briefcase over the PA system. Distracts him, loses focus, takes his eye off the prize, and somebody else ends up getting it. The $1 million question is who?
Woo. No pressure.
My number 1 pick, despite the bootleg bloodline angle, is going to be main event Jey Uso.
All right.
And my secondary pick, just because I know it's a long shot, but I have seen long shots win races before. I'm going to go for Mello in the Bank. Because I feel that's some great marketing. I feel that could be a t-shirt, considering that he is him. And there's always the possibility that he could turn up at Heatwave the following night and cash in on Trick after that fatal 4-way.
It's fair, especially because you wonder if Trick Mello game is done for the time being. All right, so JJ has set the pace. He has picked Jey Uso as primary and Carmelo Hayes as secondary. That being said, again, chat, let your predictions be known. I see Josh, Richard Morales, Chase, and thank you for your support, Steven Ashby. Appreciate you. Chris, it's now on you. What are your 2 picks to win the men's Money in the Bank?
Well, my 2 picks for Money in the Bank goes as simple as, like, at the end of Monday on Raw, I did like an early prediction. I did had Jey Uso and Carmelo Hayes as an early prediction, but I'm going into a whole different direction with this. My number 1 pick is going to be Drew McIntyre. I have Drew McIntyre as my number 1 to win the Money in the Bank. And I do feel what he said, he's going to win Money in the Bank and cash it in the main event. As my number 2 goes, I don't see El Idiot. That's Andrade, what Drew McIntyre said on SmackDown last night.
Disrespect.
But I'm going to say my number 2 will be Yeet, main event, Jey Uso. And those are my 2 picks to win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match.
Well, fair enough. Shout out again to the 54 of you between the Team Galaxy and the predicted community that's put in their predictions so far. And again, your predictions matter too. And no predictions are final until 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. That's when I close the form. That's when I shut down the graph that I created in Excel, tracking all 80 plus of you. Thank you to those that are participating, of course. Joshi, Sienna, Dwayne Atkinson, Cass, Colin, Anthony, Hector, apologies if I screw up your name. Kimberly, Polomike, new name, can't read it right now. Ashley Courtsmart, just to name a few. DJW, Nick, and the analyst Michael Wayne, amongst the so many of you. Walter, it's interesting right now. It's pretty partisan, but the majority of the primary at this point is indeed Jey Uso. Secondary is actually, LA Knight. I do wonder that's something to do with maybe that face-off from SmackDown. But what's your take, Walter? Who are your 2 picks here to win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match?
Yeah, I don't think it's LA Knight because I think he's going to get involved in the U.S. title with Logan Paul. I mean, will Logan Paul pop up and cost him? I don't know. You don't want too much shenanigans and too many pop-ups. There's already people thinking Punk. And who knows? I mean, Pat McAfee's father-in-law just passed away. There's an empty commentary spot. Punk has always said, I'm the best in this ring, on this microphone, even in commentary. So will we put it past the CM Punk as a special commentary for this match? And that's what screws Drew up. With a Wyatt 6 light, even if they don't show up, maybe the light, something happens while Chad's climbing. And then who knows, the bloodline can interfere with Jay just to screw with them. There's so much stuff that can happen, but you don't want to do too much in one match. But I'm going to go with Drew just because I think he's going to say what he's going to try to do what he said and cash in, and that's when Punk screws him. I don't think it's going to be during this match. I think it's during the cash-in portion later on in the main event. So that's why I'm going to go with Drew as my number 1 pick, and I got to go with JJ. I said this before. I just think the briefcase fits Carmelo. It's debatable whether he's ready for the title, but him carrying the case and saying, I am him, I don't miss, and just being the typical a-hole as a heel, I think the Money in the Bank briefcase is meant for heels, especially cocky heels like Carmelo, and he's the perfect person to carry it. So I think I'm going to go with him with my 2nd pick. But Drew is my top pick.
I think that's fair also, Arlene. When Carmelo Hayes first arrived, his very first match on Draft Day on SmackDown was against the undisputed WWE Champion, Cody Rhodes, who of course will be in action against the bootleg Bloodline. We're going to say that more times. We're actually going to be able to put the banner up here. Anyway, Arlene, what's your take on this? And as far as top secondary, the secondary actually is top-wise. LA Knight, Jey Uso is 2nd. So while LA Knight right now might have something going for him, people might be willing behind LA Knight to actually win this time. The last thing was involved Money in the Bank. It was Damian Priest that cost him when he literally had his fingers on the briefcase, taking himself of heaven straight to hell from the top of the ladder. Could a similar situation happen here? What's your take and your 2 picks?
Here's where I'm like wondering like if there might be a surprise here or not. A lot of talk has been said about me we were talking about Wyatt 6 being involved and maybe Chad Gable not making it and someone has to replace him. Who would be some of the people replacing him? There's been talks about Dominic Mysterio, the same. So it could even be someone from TNA making an appearance at Money in the Bank. Not saying that they're going to win. I'm just saying that if they're going to replace Chad Gable with someone else, that could potentially be a thing that might happen. And one of the people I could see maybe replacing him from TNA is Joe Henry.
She's want to say his name. Arlene, how dare you? She's out there. Anyway, continue. That would make me pop hard. I'm not gonna lie. Go ahead.
So like that's not to say he's gonna win. I'm just saying he did mention that he can appear anywhere and anywhere basically is what he said.
Yeah.
So that could be a possibility too. So I don't think Chad Gable's gonna win it just because of the whole White Six and everything going on with him. I don't think Drew's gonna win it just because of the fact that if he does win it, we know somehow Punk is gonna be involved. It might cost him to cash in. Every time he's going to cash in, we're going to think, oh, CM Punk's going to come in and he's going to cost him. And it's like, I'm kind of like, I don't want that. Like, we know he's going to somehow be, CM Punk's still going to be involved with Drew McIntyre. That match, honestly, I don't think needs the title for when they do face off and stuff.
Agreed.
So that's why I don't think Drew McIntyre is going to win. As for Jey Uso, I'm gonna say that he's gonna be my secondary pick in this case. I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, well, he's gonna be involved in the bloodline." Here's the thing: him and Jimmy have yet to make up. Okay, Jimmy has always been envious of what Jey has had, the success that he's had. This is what caused them to have the match in WrestleMania. When you see that your sibling is more successful at you, you're not easily trying to make up with him right away. So I think them reuniting is realistically as siblings, like that takes a while to get over. So I don't think Jay is going to be really back inserted right away as people think it's going to happen. Because when you have a brother that you're very competitive, Emmanuel, it's kind of hard to say that, you're gonna like forgive him right away. You just want to like, you can't stand his success because you want to be like, no, like, so there's always going to be that sibling rivalry. And if he wins this Money in the Bank, it's going to be making Jimmy Uso more envious of him and wanting to bring him down a peg, and that's going to cause another matchup. So I feel like the Bloodline and Jey Uso joining it is going to be further down in the future than people are expecting. They're expecting by SummerSlam or whatever. I don't think that's going to be the case because Jimmy's always been envious of Jey. They can't just put that feeling set to the side, especially if he wins Money in the Bank. Right. That he's going to be so willing to work with him because he's like, damn, and he's going to turn on him right away as soon as that match is over. So it's like, I feel like it's going to take some time to get over that enviousness that he has over him. So that's why I don't think Jay's going to win.
All right, let it cook. So that being said, who do you think is going to win?
So I think my number one pick is going to be Carmelo Hayes, just because LA Knight has the thing with LA Knight. Andrade, he hasn't really done much. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with Carmelo Hayes to be number one. That's going to be the surprise. And he's going to end up winning WrestleMania. And it's going to also go with my pick with the women's and having two NXT former championships become the new WWE championships in WrestleMania. And that's what I think is going to happen. Long story short, but yeah.
A possible spoiler to come, but I can understand that. Well, Manuel, I mean, they all made valid points, and I kind of agree with the sentiment about LA Knight having a different agenda. It's not the first time Logan Paul screwed somebody of a major opportunity. We saw what happened in Elimination Chamber and the follow of that feud, of course, with Randy Orton, and prior to that, butting heads with Kevin Owens. I could definitely see Logan Paul showing up here and costing LA Knight, and that's how you get the United States Championship at SummerSlam. For those that don't know, SummerSlam in Cleveland, that's Logan Paul's hometown. Just saying. And for me, Chad Gable, the guy resuscitated from death, all right? So it's almost like at this point, he doesn't need Money in the Bank if he could literally outrun the Grim Reaper. So I don't think he's going to win it. I always think Money in the Bank has a stronger success rate in creating something possible with a heel behind it versus the face. So my two are definitely heels, and simply put, I'm actually going with Drew McIntyre and Carmelo Hayes in that order. I think they're the two most valid candidates to hold the briefcase at this point because both have an itinerary to be champion. Why one definitely has more of a, some would say, hypocritical itinerary, considering how he called this a joke, and now he might use it as a means towards someone else's end. Carmelo Hayes, Mellow in the Bank. I could see that literally being a market strategy for WWE. So I definitely agree with the settlement there. So I'm going with Drew McIntyre, Canelo Hayes in that order. That being said, Manuel, you wrap things up for this match. Who are your 2 picks?
A quick shout out to my sister Irene for the Joe Hendry work. Can you believe if Joe Hendry actually cashes in on Moose on a TNA pay-per-view? That would be so epic.
Now you're just trying to explode the prohibited portal, considering he's already faced the man some adversity, which we will cover here according to Once versus Media. That being said, go ahead now, your 2 picks. Enough Joe Hendry. We all believe, but come on.
Yeah. Well, since nobody's picking for an Idolo, and since TGS was crapping on him, I'm gonna go for Andrade for my second pick.
Sheer circumstance.
Yeah, circumstances. Like no one's giving the poor guy a chance. I'll give him a chance right now.
He's the EO of this match.
Fair.
I mean, think about it. If the rumor that was being discussed before we hit the live button is true, and they're testing the Queen's lighting and pyro, what if Andrade and Charlotte both walked away with briefcases?
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Oh,
Power
Mr.
couple.
and Mrs. Moneyback.
I'm just saying it's something to think about. I would lose my shit because everyone knows I can't stand Charlotte. She's only slightly above Liv Morgan right now.
Damn, JJ.
But, I mean, that would be some interesting shit. So I could feel you on that one, Emmanuel.
To be fair, there is one person that did pick Andrade as a primary, and there also is a few people that picked him as a secondary. So it's not that he's being completely written off. And again, he does have previous Money in the Bank ladder match experience, and that could play in his favor. But continue.
Okay, and it has to be Jey Uso, as my number 1 pick. It's kind of obvious, the merchandise. You could see the poster Yeet on the Bank. I could see that people buying that as hot cakes, basically, type of deal. Drew McIntyre, I could see the circumstantial. The only way he could be successful on the cash-in is basically CM Punk has moved on to Seth Rollins, and he completely forgot about his goal about that. But like JJ said, he could be reaching, for the briefcase that the theme song hits. He doesn't need necessarily come out.
Exactly.
And then somebody tips over the ladder, and you be decapitated, like gone for the rest of the match, and somebody else catches in, and so you don't need that much of a shenanigans, like Aaron pointed out, for the whole entire match. Yeah. Now, if we gonna have a cash in on during that night, probably not. Both women and the men's no cash in tonight for me.
All right, he's going in advance with that. I'll say that for them, but that's fine. Considering we don't have a women's championship on the line tonight, you would think that this would be the opportunity that somebody would cash in, considering there's only a men's championship on the line. And I do think that also goes a lot with the MO of Drew McIntyre. But again, CM Punk is in Drew McIntyre's head. He doesn't have to be there. He's already literally on his wrist. And the fact that he has his family with him, that family might be Drew McIntyre's downfall once again. And it may not be CM Punk this time. I'm just saying. But good stuff all around. And again, the dynamics that pretty much everybody here, even Andrade, though he has the smallest margin, could potentially be a winner here. That goes to the testament of what WWE has given us with this men's Money in the Bank. And some of these people have never been involved in this match before. So good luck to all 6. All right. That's one match down. We got 4 more to go. So JJ, where you go from here after a human car wreck?
To another car wreck.
Oh, Lord. Oh, no. All right. Well, this is going to be unique. Sami Zayn defends the Intercontinental Championship against Braun Breaker, the guy that has the fastest spear I've ever seen in my life. Eat your heart out, Usain Bolt. So, simply put, since Braun Breaker came up to Monday Night Raw during the draft, he's ran roughshod and broken everybody in half. He destroyed Ricochet, and he destroyed Ilya Dragunov, and all he's been asking and looking for is opportunity. And unlike him literally looking for it, Sami Zayn's presenting it to him. After destroying Ludwig Kaiser, who's going to be out for a while with damaged ribs, and also overcoming Sheamus, who, again, the only title he's never won, poor fella, in his pursuit of the Grand Slam, we now find Sami Zayn, the ultimate underdog, after overcoming Chad Gable for a hat trick, facing Braun Breaker for the first time ever in singles action. Now, there's a couple things to this before I give it to Chris. One, WWE logic dictates the person going in usually loses if they have momentum on the go-home show. You all watch Raw just like I did. Secondly, Braun Breaker's only been on Monday Night Raw for, believe it or not, 3 months, if that. And this is literally his first championship opportunity. Would they literally give it to him that quick? And we also know Sami Zayn's a guy that you never can count out. He's the ultimate underdog. Just ask El Generico, whatever the hell happened to that guy. That being said, this is one of those matches that I feel truly can surprise us with the outcome. But I also don't think it's a one-off. Chris, you start things off. Do you have a brand new Intercontinental Champion? Or does Sami Zayn find a way to survive Braun Breaker?
I am like torn on this match with Sammy and Braun because I just have a gut feeling this is like a B+ pay-per-view, not a major pay-per-view. And we all have to say this. This is in Sami Zayn's home country in Canada. And you know what happened the last time Sami Zayn had a championship match in Canada? Oh, wait. He lost to my buddy Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Champion.
But he retained his Intercontinental Championship against Chad Gable earlier this year, just saying. In his hometown, in his country. But continue.
So this is in Canada, and I don't think this is going to be a one-off. I do believe at the end of the day, I got to go with the hometown boy. I got Sami Zayn surviving and winning the Intercontinental, retaining the Intercontinental Championship, and I feel there's going to be shenanigans involved here tonight that is going to prevent Braun Breaker go absolutely crazy. I feel like there could be a double count out or a disqualification that will lead Sami Zayn to retain. But I do believe Braun Breaker's time will happen at SummerSlam in Cleveland, where Braun Breaker becomes the brand new Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam instead of tonight. So Braun Breaker's time will happen at SummerSlam, but it's not going to happen tonight. I got Sammy retaining the Intercontinental Champion and surviving a dominant Braun Breaker.
All right, that's fair. And again, in our predictions, it's about who leaves with the goal. So the disqualification, Sami Zayn still retains. You still get the point for Sami Zayn. So that being said, we have a notion for Sami Zayn retaining. Now, because of the championship match, and we kind of got a little bit of dissertation there, I now open the floor to see if anybody disagrees with Sami Zayn retaining. Before I move on, going once, going twice, JJ. I mean, this is your former NXT champion of your NXT, so I'm sure it's not brand bias, but go ahead, JJ.
And I totally get what Chris is saying about the disqualification and everything. That's the only way that you get out of this with Sammy winning and Braun looking strong. But from everything I'm reading on the interwebs, they are very high on Bronathan Breaker.
I'm aware of that.
I think if this was Montreal, Sammy's actual hometown, I would be more inclined. But we're in Toronto. I think we get a new Intercontinental Champion here.
All right. I like it. Before I give it to Arlene, a majority ratio 2-1 believe that Braun is gaining the Intercontinental Championship. It's 66 to 33% in favor of the challenger. So the odds are in favor of Braun Breaker, and Arlene, to their point, I don't think Braun's been pinned since he's arrived on Monday Night Raw. I don't think he's lost a match necessarily yet either. So Arlene, what do you have to add?
I was just gonna echo JJ's sentiment. Like, I do understand where Chris is coming from, like an interference, and people I can see interfering is Ludwig Kaiser, because he did, and Braun Breaker did injure him, so I could see him getting involved in stuff like that, and this causing like a disqualification. And because he went after Braun Breaker, that's how Sami Zayn retains. But at the same time, like when I think about the titles and who is most likely to retain their title, in this case, looking at the two championships,
Right.
I think between the two, I feel Sami Zayn's more likely to lose the championship than Damian Priest, and I'll get to that when we do that pick. But understand, like I'm trying to do this in the logical sense of what could create a more
trying
of
to
a
apply
storyline.
logic for wrestling. What's wrong with you?
I know, but like coming to like in a storyline sense where they might lead the storyline when it comes to Judgment Day and all that stuff. That's why I think this one is where he is most likely to lose it than retain it. So that's why I'm going for Braun Breaker as well on this match, just because of what I think might end up happening between Damian Priest and Seth Rollins.
Okay. So we got Braun for JJ, Braun for Arlene. We got Sammy for Chris. I like the fact this is partisan here. I saw Walter's hand up first, and we'll go back to JJ, and then we'll get Emmanuel here. But I'll also say this. I'm still saying that Sammy's retaining. Walter, what do you got real quick?
Yeah, the only reason I'm saying Sammy's retaining is because people are forgetting about Ilya and Ilya's problem with Braun. I really think this is leading to a triple threat between these people at SummerSlam, and that's where Braun takes it.
That's fair notion too. Wouldn't be the
Then
first.
you make him look stronger against two of your big time people, Ilya and Sammy. So you make him look even better by defeating both of them. I wouldn't even put it past him to do the Roman pile both of them up.
Oh wow! Stack them and break them. Well, there's no doubt that Braun Breaker could definitely be the next big thing, and it could start off winning his first title tonight. But I feel like they're going to try and push it out to again the biggest part of the summer. What you got, JJ, before we go to Manuel to conclude this thing here?
I was just going to say something else you got to keep in mind is Sammy is probably going to end up in this feud against the Bootleg Bloodline. So you need to get the IC title off of him. Plus, if Sheamus is going to accomplish his Grand Slam, he needs to take the IC title off of a heel, not a babyface.
That's fair.
And Sheamus versus Braun at SummerSlam would be money.
Considering we haven't had a clean result with those two because Ludwig Kaiser got involved each time, and he's on definitely with broken ribs. So, again, I get what you're saying. Either way, it sounds like Braun Breaker is a future champion. Just matter if it happens tonight.
That would definitely be a banger.
After banger.
After burger.
I just had a burger earlier. Angus beef. Very good stuff. Emmanuel, you close this thing out. So right now it's 2 Brauns, 3 Sammys. Do you tie with Braun or do you go with the champ retaining? Where you stand in this?
I have to agree with Chris. I mean, is that Sammy's going to regain it by the disqualification or stoppage of the match? I feel like Braun Breaker is going to snap and the referees like count to 5 and he won't break it, and like that's how you keep it off him, because he like so far his story arc is like he doesn't listen to authority. He's unhinged. He's like ready to snap on somebody. Like it doesn't matter who it is, he's gonna destroy them, and that's what I feel. I feel that's what's going to happen in this match. I feel like Braun Breaker is gonna cost himself his own match. He's gonna do something so epic or so like that he just snaps during the match, because we talked about people interfering during this match, which is a given, but but for me it's like, is it time for Sammy to lose his title? Yes. is it right now? It could be argued like I'd be okay with Braun Breaker winning the title tonight, to be honest. But it's like one of those things like that's where I get the storylines is going with him. Like he can't be controlled, he can't be untamed. He's gonna do what he wants to do, and who are you gonna stop him with?
How many spears does it take before Sami Zayn doesn't get up on his own 2 feet? And how is his ribs after Monday night? Also, just saying. Sami Zayn's not coming in here at 100% too. So I get what y'all are saying. But also, he's a Steiner, and we know Steiners have a short temper. If they don't listen to the official, they screw themselves. Hi, big Papa Pump. But yes, I'm definitely partisan of this match. But for me, this is the one match that doesn't need interference. It's Braun Breaker's standout showcase, his first big opportunity. He's going to show the world exactly what he's made of beyond JJ's NXT. And Sami Zayn's going to be the victim, surviving with his title, if we're correct in predicting. All right, let's go ahead and keep moving on here, JJ. What do you got next as far as the middle of the show? Oh, Lord. All right.
Time for the bootleg bloodline.
Yeah, get the graphic ready for how many times we say it's like Pee Wee Herman. Don't scream, but just put the graphic up as it said. Okay, well, this is going to be fun and interesting because I think we know where this is heading. But yes, let's talk about this 6-person tag. It is Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, RKO, if you all have seen that on the shirts as of late, and the undisputed WWE Champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And they take on the Bootleg Bloodline. So Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and apparently it's Jacob Fatu, but I'm pretty sure Tongaloa won't be too far away either. We know how far this story goes back if you truly looked at the first confrontation of Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa, but as we move the clock forward, we now see that Solo Sikoa has usurped himself as the new head of the table. Not my tribal chief. And Paul Heyman said that quite politically, give that man an Emmy, and got taken out for what it was worth. R.I.P. He says that Roman Reigns was unable to hold on to this title to preserve the legacy of our family, so I'm going to get it myself. And he made those intentions known after that I Quit match back at Clash of the Castle, where this feud really escalated. And then you look at Kevin Owens' emotional story about his mother. God bless Mama Owens. Get well soon. And basically, they've been going to war ever since Backlash and wants to beat them worse than ever before. The thing about this match here, are we teasing truly the next inning of this bloodline civil war we keep talking about that will occur at Survivor Series War Games, according to our fantasy booking, JJ? That being said, let's see who wins this 6-man tag and see what it may lead to for SummerSlam and potentially Cody Rhodes' next championship opponent. Walter, you're on the docket for this. Who you got winning the 6-man tag, Cody and crew or Bootleg Bloodline?
Before SmackDown, I thought it was clear, cut, and dry that it was all bootleg bloodline. But, spoiler alert, ... Last night with that Kevin Owens, that impassioned speech, it's not so clear because maybe Kevin Owens is doing it for his mom. But it's in his own country. There's no way. Bloodline has got to win their first major feud. There's no way you can make them lose. And I'll go even a step further. I think you have to pin Cody. I think Solo pins Cody because why would he deserve a title shot at SummerSlam randomly out of nowhere if you didn't even pin? It's the proverbial, oh, look, in a non-title match, the champion got pinned, and now this led to a title match. It's the same story they pull off all the time. So I think Kevin Owens is going to do a hell of a thing, but the whatever 3-man combination we're going to have, because they're saying Jacob Fatu might not be able to enter the country because of the legal issues. Yeah. So whatever 3 they have, I think Kevin Owens and Randy will be on the outside getting through tables or something, powerbomb, which leaves Cody alone in there, and then somehow Solo hits his move and wins, or they jump him or something. I think you got to take RKO and KO out on the outside to isolate Cody, and that's what you do. So I think Bloodline wins this one. Bootleg Bloodline, as we say.
Where's the graphic? All right. Well, that being said, before I open up to the floor, I see there's a disagreement. Majority are going with Bootleg Bloodline just because of that very circumstance. 78% versus 21% out of 55 total responses. And to your point, what happened last year at Money in the Bank, guys? Roman Reigns got pinned by Jey Uso, and it led towards tribal combat at SummerSlam. We don't talk about that for reasons. But literally, cause and effect. I think Walter hit the nail on the head. I agree. So unless the disagreement, we'll move on. Does anyone believe the Blue Bloodline is not going to win? Going once, going twice. Really, bruv? Hold on. No, hold on here. I'm going to call hypocrisy real quick. This guy acknowledged Roman Reigns more than virtue when it came to head of the table and the bloodline. And he's going against this next incarnation of the bloodline.
No, I have something to say.
Go ahead.
I'm going with the bloodline. I was going to say I'm going with the bloodline. I agree with Walter. Solo is going to pin Cody, and that's going to set up Cody and Solo at SummerSlam. But I'm making a bold prediction here. I think what Triple H said on social media, that there's going to be some surprises. I think I'm making a bold prediction right now. I think after the match, Randy Orton is going to turn heel tonight. I have Randy turning heel after, because the way Randy is looking at Cody, they're like teasing the Cody-Randy Orton feud. But they could save that maybe down the road. But what if Randy turns on Kevin Owens? And that could really start maybe Randy versus Kevin Owens feud, maybe towards SummerSlam maybe SummerSlam could be Randy versus Kevin Owens at SummerSlam. So that is why I'm thinking that Randy is going to turn heel tonight at Money in the Bank.
I think this match, the bigger story here is right now this bootleg bloodline trying to be the next Roman Reigns. And that's really what Solo Sikoa is trying to be. He's trying to be Roman, but he's using it by force, not by family approval. It's a dictatorship versus a monarchy, if you all know your history of leaderships. That being said, Arlene, I see you got your hand up, and I do acknowledge you, Walter. But Arlene, what do you have to add to this? I think if nothing else, we're not trying to add to the prediction. We're just trying to add to the aftermath. And while I think he's farther off than the Mookie way, I'm curious to see what Arlene might think. And I'm surprised this guy hasn't given me any further storytelling yet. Go ahead, Arlene.
I mean, I don't disagree with Chris about Randy Orton turning. I do think he's going to end up turning heel on Cody. I don't think it's going to happen Money in the Bank. I think it's going to happen at Royal Rumble. And here's my logic. Okay. So, yes, like they have been teasing, like when Cody's like, there hasn't been a good challenger. And he looks at Cody like he's like trying to avoid to listen to those voices in his head, just like his song says. Like I'm not trying to hear that voice. He's my friend. I don't want to hear it. The last time he heard voices was when he faced Triple H and he said Royal Rumble. So I think he's not going to turn heel to Royal Rumble, and that's when he's going to start hearing these voices in his head, which is going to end up leading to WrestleMania.
Roman versus Rock, Cody versus Orton. That's actually not a bad card now that I think about it, but that takes also WrestleMania a whole different direction. All right, but I just go like this. With the sentimental story behind Kevin Owens right now, I think Randy and Kevin are going to continue to coexist because I think Randy supports Kevin Owens. He's basically supported him ever since coming back from injury. And I think the last thing Randy wants to do is anything to help the bloodline that put him on the shelf for 18 months. If I'm going to call for a surprise, I'm just going to put it out there. Hikuleo shows up tonight to add to the bootleg bloodline just because, and that's how you further this storyline with Cody Rhodes and the WWE Championship, and still adding another savage to this bootleg bloodline. That's my take on that. Well, that being said, Walter, I did see your finger up. Well, what's up, bro?
You said exactly what I was going to say. I was going to ask, do we know the rules of this match? Because if it's a no DQ, some kind of street fight, is it a regular time? Because I was gonna say, don't forget, there's another lurking bloodline person, Hikaleo, and people forgot it. I was gonna mention it, but great minds think alike, though. And I was thinking, you never know with Solo Virginia Plus, and we might need his own wise man. We forget they took Paul Heyman out, so who can be a wise man? We don't know if somebody comes out as a wise man. A lot of people think it's gonna be
Armando
Estrada.
Alejandro Estrada. Haha.
So we never know. And he also has wrestling experience, so he could take a few bumps and interfere and do things. So
Umaga was so underrated for his time. I think it would be kind of hilarious, though, just to have Armando come back and says, everybody listen to me. I kind of missed that, to be fair. Yes, Arlene?
Adding on to what Walter, thank God he brought it up right now with the who is going to speak for Solo Sikoa, because he's not the best at the mic. If they can't get Armando, I think this is the best storyline of Paul Heyman's career, because if he turns on Roman and joins Solo Sikoa because they need that mic piece, oh my God, people are going to lose it. Because how many times has Paul Heyman turned on Brock Lesnar? Who's to say he's not going to turn on Roman Reigns? I'm just saying, if they don't have someone to speak for Solo Sikoa to believe this whole head of the table and stuff, I know he eventually Rock's going to join, but he can't talk really for Solo all the time. And if they can't get Armando, you have to get Paul Heyman, the best speaker, to join that bloodline. And essentially, it's basically saying, no, this was all a plan just to get Roman Reigns at his most vulnerable, and and he can be like, I was the one that put all these ideas. Because remember, back then, Paul Heyman was talking to Solo Sikoa at certain points before Bloodline imploded. So who's to say he was not the mastermind of all this to begin with? Just saying.
And then someone putting out Brock Lesnar possibly showing up. And I think Brock Lesnar, even with Paul Heyman down, Brock Lesnar still would be like, nah, I'm just doing my own thing. While his daughter's achieving academic and athletic accolades galore, might as well be part of the Olympics. But again, I like the speculation, suspension of disbelief as far as where we could go with this. But as far as prediction, if Bootleg Bloodline doesn't win, the storyline and this group is dead in the WWE, and we can all acknowledge that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want Arlene's situation to have, because I just want Paul Heyman to have his own version of the Avengers, just all Paul Heyman's people, CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, everybody that was like a Paul Heyman person come back and extract revenge on this new bloodline. Roman Reigns, they just all put their differences aside and come back to avenge Paul Heyman. That's what I want.
Yeah, about to say, WWE send royalty checks to ROJJ Williams. That's the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams for your booking committee. I'm just saying. I tried, JJ. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to our semi-main. I believe Arlene will be kicking this one off because there's only one match I can believe that semi-closes here, and that has to be this. The Women's Money in the Bank. This is going to be fun. We have last year's winner, Io Sky, going in her first ever Money in the Bank ladder match. Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, and everybody's saying it's Tiffy time more than anything else. Naomi, Zoe Stark, which surprised the hell out of me, though considering history with a certain host, there might be more than meets the eye, just saying. And of course, we have Chelsea Green. So now I'm supposed to
say it right, Noah.
Damn it, JJ, why you do this to me? All right. Chelsea Green. Oh, bloody hell, that was hard. Yes, Chelsea Green. I love a hot mess. Okay. As we all know, these 6 women, of course, they also qualified here. And of course, again, Io Sky, she is pretty much the only one here that is a former WWE champion this era. But Naomi, different era, also former WWE champion, but also TNA Knockouts champion. Now, I'm just going to put it out there while Arlene leads. If you're not naming at least one of 2 key candidates, you are not looking at this match correctly. I'm just saying. Arlene, it's on you to kick things off. How fitting, ladies first. Who are your 2 picks for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match?
As for surprises, I feel like there has to be a reason why Trish is here besides her hosting. And I feel like she's somehow going to insert herself into this match. Whose spot is she going to take? The person that she had her feud last. Zoe Stark. And that's why I think they only stuck her in there, just so that, they have a reason to stick Trish in. If this was, I just feel like there's something weird with Trish, either that or she's going to help Zoe Stark, which, I mean, not a lot of people are behind her. And if this is the way for them to push her, I mean, they're taking a big risk, because I don't think that even with Trish, even when she was working with Trish, it really like help her as much as I think we're expecting it to help her. So if anything, I think maybe this might be the surprise that maybe somehow Trish try to insert herself and take Zoe Stark's place. As for Naomi, I don't think she's gonna win it. She needs to turn heel or like something, because like she's too buddy with Bailey. I don't see her going with against Bailey again. Chelsea Green, I hear a lot of people are going for her. I don't think they're gonna give it to her. As for Tiffy, I think she's my primary pick. I think she's gonna end up winning. And here's the thing, I disagree with JJ when it comes to she cashing into Nia Jax. I don't think that's gonna happen. If anything, I think she's gonna end up cashing in on someone on Raw. And here's my logic: only because Kaiser, her boyfriend's there, and they tend to keep couples together. That's why I think she's gonna end up moving back to Raw so she could be with him. And so she's gonna end up cashing on someone on Raw, who has yet to be determined. So I think she's not gonna cash in until WrestleMania. That's where you have two NXT champion becoming world WWE champions. And so that's why I think Carmelo Hayes is going to win. That goes back to my original pick, and Tiffy. So that now it's like two NXT people won WWE championships. As for my secondary pick, I could see them maybe giving it to Io, because she could be the first back-to-back. They have been mentioning that a lot. And I feel like if she does win it, I felt like her title run wasn't that great. Damage Control has kind of like been dead since Bailey has been out. So I feel like if she's gonna go by herself, I think that's gonna take time. So I don't think she should win it. So I think my secondary pick in this case is Lyra Valkyria, only because they're trying to make her the next Becky Lynch, and she stay on Raw and then challenge for the Raw title. And if she does cash in, I think it goes back to going back to WrestleMania and having her cash in there, and still have those two NXT people become WWE champions.
All right. So she has Tiffany Stratton and Lyra Valkyria. Well, Emmanuel, the whole Tiffany Nia Jax thing wouldn't be the first time that a student turned against their mentor. Hello, Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow. How'd that work out for you? And of course, Lyra, again, babyface. But here's another little stat. Women cash in right now still stands at 100% success rate versus the men that's dropped down close to 80%. So that's another thing to think about. And I don't necessarily know if the caveat for the Money in the Bank winner is you only can cash in on your world champion, on your brand. So I won't say that her, because last I checked today, they said any championship. And I think that still stands. So despite what Arlene's saying, folks, it actually does make sense. And yes, Blue Kaiser is literally her boyfriend. But that being said, Emmanuel, what are your two picks for this?
This is where I disagree with Arlene with her second pick, because I feel like Io and Lyra are going to cancel themselves out, since they have their feud is like Eos is so obsessed to take out Lyra that they both canceling themselves out. That's why those two are out automatically, because they're gonna be so focused on each other that they're gonna forget their objective, which is getting the briefcase. So that being said, I don't take those two out. Sadly, Naomi is not doing anything. She's the happy-go-lucky, trying to be pals with Bailey. She needs that edge badly. She needs to be turning heel soon. Or not, she's basically dead in the water. The only reason why if she does win Money in the Bank, she goes back to TNA and cash in, on the TNA championship. But even then, that's a stretch. Then there's Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green is a sure thing to have the first ever woman who failed to cash in.
Oh, how dare you!
Yeah, like it's sad. It's sad to say, because I know there's a lot of praise for Chelsea Green. I could see the merchandise like too, like her changing the colors of the briefcase and how she's entitled, like and be in both brands at the same time with making logic. Like, why are you here? Maybe I will cash in the briefcase and more Chelsea Green time. So that's my secondary pick. Obviously, my main pick is Tiffany Stratton. I feel bad for Zoe Stark. I mean, like, she's just there. She was there to as a secondary price because they're like, we don't have enough women to be in the main roster to put in this match. So let's give these three random women wrestlers, which is sad because that's not true, because there's other women that could have featured, but they went with the safe route with the Dakota, Zoe, and I forget the third one person.
Ivy Nile, which was
Ivy
my pick
Nile,
to be
yeah.
in this, but
So it's kind of sad how that went to a secondary pick. That's why I'm not even thinking about Zoe Stark, because it's like forgettable. Like, okay, you just got in because you get your second chance. So those are my two picks.
all right. I mean, again, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as the two picks go, but now it's on JJ's list refund. And JJ just put it out there, 76% are with you and Tiffy time as primary, while over half are secondary with Chelsea Green. She literally, those two women are the two key favorites in the entire predicting community across 55 polls. So spotlight's on you, bruv. What are your two picks? Outside that, reason why is one more prominently deserving than the other? What do you got to say, JJ?
Give me 1 second. Natalie just messaged me, so I want to reply to her real quick.
Oh, no problem.
Throw it to Walter real quick.
Ask and you shall get it. Walter, it's on you. What are your two picks? And shout out to Natalie, one of the most graceful voices and friends here, the multiverse of Mia. Hope that she's doing well. Walter, again, man, Tiffany Stratton, she's been one of the hottest things going since arriving on the main roster. And Chelsea Green, she's Santa Chris Van Vliet. She's all about creating those moments, the opportunities. Even if she doesn't win, which why I hate what Emmanuel says, he might be right. She's still going to make sure that she's a top point in the end. I'll say it once, I'll say it again. She was my MVP from the Women's Royal Rumble because of her shenanigans. So, again, Walter, it's on you. What are your two picks for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match?
Yeah, I think it's Tiffy time. I think I think the WWE is behind her, and I think she's going to hold it probably longer than Carmelo held it. I think she's going to hold it, pick her spot, and actually cash in and win. I disagree with Arlene about cashing in on the Raw champion. I think she's going to tell Nia that. I'm going to go cash in on Raw since we're best friends and the Raw champion, and then cash it in on Nia when she least expects it. I just think she's going to screw Nia out of it. I don't think she's going to jump to Raw. She's going to make Nia think that that's what she's going to do, and then Nia puts her guard down, and then boom. But I do think she's going to hold it for a while. And then that's my primary pick. My secondary pick is Miss Karen in the Bank. Chelsea Green. I think she's going to push that forward, and it's going to be Karen in the Bank. And, yeah, she's going to be an obnoxious person with that briefcase. And I wouldn't put it past what Emmanuel said for her to be the first one to fail, because it just fits her. But yeah, she's going to be very annoying and obnoxious as the Money in the Bank holder. So yeah, I'm happy with either one, but I think this is a 2-woman show. This ladder match really. I don't see any chance of the rest of them. I mean, of course, none of us thought Vince McMahon would resign any day, so anything can happen. But I don't see anyone else but these two winning it.
I feel like that's what most people at this point are thinking. And again, Lyra, Io, they have a 6-woman tag feud. You basically hit the nail on the head there. Zoe Stark in this just maybe because of Trish Stratus' revenge angle. Book a big marquee match for SummerSlam involving Trish. Move more tickets. I can see that. And then you have Naomi. She's here. And then Tiffany and Chelsea. It's like 1A and 1B. Who would you rather see be your SmackDown Women's Champion? Honestly, if I could have both, I'd be extremely happy. I think they both deserve it. But I've been on the Chelsea Green bandwagon since I first saw her come back to wrestling at Summerversary 2021. So That's my thinking there. Literally, I'm with you guys. I'm Tiffany and Chelsea in that order. I almost went with Chelsea as primary, but to your point, they're heavily behind Tiffany. So I'll go with the safe bet. All right, JJ. So that being said, whether it's just you or Natalie, I welcome both. Floor is on you now, buddy. What do you got to say?
Well, I pretty much agree with what everyone else is saying here. I got my primary pick is Tiffy time. I've been saying it since she got drafted that she was pretty much a lock for Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
There was thoughts of her getting Queen in the Ring, but as soon as she didn't get that, it was like, okay, she's got the briefcase. My secondary pick is going to be your hot mess, Chelsea Green.
Curse you, Samantha Irvin, for making us say it like that.
Because, I mean, to Walter's point, if she wins this briefcase, she is just going to be insufferable.
I'm all for it, personally. I love it.
And I'm there for it because she is so entertaining.
Yes, she is. And
if I may, before you throw it to Chris, I have Natalie's picks now, so let me go ahead and get her caught up.
Absolutely.
Her primary for the men's Money in the Bank is going to be Mr. Yeet in the Bank.
Yeet.
Her secondary pick is Mr. Yeah in the Bank.
I'm for it.
She wants Sammy to retain. She does not acknowledge the bootleg bloodline. She's got Team Cody Rhodes.
Damn.
Her primary for the women's is Tiffy time. And her secondary is also Chelsea Green.
We all love Chelsea. Let's just admit, we all love this crazy hot mess because she is that entertaining. She's got more of a brand than our truth. Anyway. All right. And personally, I still think Tiffany should cash in on Bailey versus Nia, but I also think Tiffany's capable of being Bailey one-on-one for the title. That's why I think Chelsea Green makes more sense, just how many times you would try and cash in on Bailey. Because Bailey and Tiffany and Chelsea, that's a triple threat that I want to see.
I love Josh's thought process here, but Chelsea has already said that she's teasing bringing back the Divas title. You can't do that if she cashes in on the Knockouts title.
No, Chelsea. No, I know you're crazy. No, do not bring the butterfly back. No.
Come on, that would look perfect on her.
It might, but they're not divas.
I understand, but look at the outfit she's wearing in this graphic and tell me accentuating that with that pinkish purple butterfly garbage would not be the perfect accessory with an outfit like that.
She's a hot mess.
Arlene, you're a female. You know about accessories. The Divas title with Chelsea's outfit. Tell me that would not be the perfect accessory.
I think that if they changed up the title and a little bit, I think it would. Yeah.
Oh.
But the same thing can be said with Tiffany Stratton. She can make it more girly too. So there's that too.
All pink. I mean,
she's like Barbie. So either one can make it. Honestly, like it would be nice to like. I mean, I don't like the color pink, but I know a lot of girls that like pink titles personally. So like, more power to them. But so I wouldn't buy the title for myself. But like other girls, like what if there was like a pink title? Oh, a lot of those girls would be buying those titles. So either one can make a title more girly and it could sell. So you can make that case for Tiffany or Chelsea. But yes, I agree.
For the record, Noah, Natalie got herself a Divas title when she dressed as AJ Lee for her birthday party this year.
That's fair because it was the title AJ Lee won during her debut against Paige on Monday Night Raw. All right. Still hate it. All right, Walter. What do you guys say real quick before we go to Chris to conclude this match?
I just want to add, no, just because they bring the design back doesn't mean they got to call it the Diva title. They can still call it the same title. She could just bring the design back. So it'll still work.
It's still misplaced identity, in my opinion. I'm just saying. Chelsea Green, a blessing and a curse if she wins Money in the Bank. Oh, jeez. Oh, Lord. All right, Chris, you close this thing out. Who are your two picks for this madness, utterly known as a two-woman show?
Well, My 2 picks for the women's Money in the Bank is I'm agreeing with you guys. My primary pick is going to be Tiffy Time, and my secondary is going to be Chelsea Green.
Oh, good God. But that's the last time we're hearing it sound like that, unless it comes out of Samantha Irvin's mouth. Men are not supposed to say her name like that. Yeesh.
That's not true, Noah. They now have the SmackDown announcer saying it like that too, and my brother cringed when he did that. He's like, "Don't do that again."
Continue. All right. Oh, wait, that's right. He said them. Okay, so there you go. So majority has it. We are going mostly with Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea Green. Good luck to the other 4. Don't break your back on a ladder. And it wouldn't surprise me if Piper Niven gets involved or Nia Jax tries to play favorites like you said. But as long as it means at the end of SummerSlam, I either have Chelsea Green, Bayley, or Tiffany Stratton as my champion, I'll be happy. Okay. Well, that being said, we've had a lot of fun, a lot of chat so far. And again, folks, we do not only Super Disney, but we also do coverage for all the biggest shows, PLEs, and pay-per-views across professional wrestling, WWE, NXT, Ring of Honor, TNA, sometimes NJ, PW, and of course AEW. And if you want to know more of what we're about, including our watch long event schedule, check this out.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
And again, folks, as we always like to say here at the Multiverse Media, all the wrestling, 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 all the professional wrestling, damn it, and other sports, courtesy of Walter Cruz and Dory Lou and Stat Boy Mikey. Yes, JJ.
While we've been on the air, this has been made, announced, and official.
What?
WWE Bad Blood is back on the anniversary of the original, October 5th, which just so happens to be our resident statistician's birthday.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yes, live from Atlanta, Georgia, the hometown of a certain American Nightmare.
Oh, boy.
Don't be surprised if there's a lot of old names because WWE has filed a lot of old WCW trademarks.
I heard about that, but I didn't think Bad Blood would come back up. I haven't heard that name since that Hell War that Shawn Michaels Triple H had inside Hell in a Cell. And the point of Bad Blood, not only about Cody Rhodes, tells me that the Bloodline Civil War is going to escalate extremely high at that point. That
and
means
then I also want to acknowledge Josh's other super chat real quick.
Yep.
If Trish inserts herself and wins, he wants it noted, Noah.
This is not Vince McMahon, Austin Theory booking where the rest of the field is fuck you. That's not going to happen. So get that out of your mind right now. I still say she's going to cost Zoe, and you get Zoe Stark and Trish at SummerSlam because they don't do jack all with Shayna Baszler. Speaking
Did you just do the Hawk tour, Noah? What the hell?
Man, this is what happens when you deal with that stuff in AEW even. Thanks, Roderick Strong. And that being said, you go and put that up again because we acknowledge, of course, the man that made this multiverse all possible, Jeff whatever Meacham. Good to see him in the chat. Hello, people. Coming here live from the COVID ward at the Jeff Meter Network Studios. Get well soon, boss, man. All right. Well, that being said, now we got another show as fall starts to fill. Bad Blood. I never thought I'd hear that name again, especially when WWE refuses to actually try and let people bleed. But
that's in addition to this that got added last night that Walter will be covering, which is the same night as the Mission Pros show, which is the same night as our beach party karaoke.
All the stuff. all the stuff, all the simulcasting. And speaking of simulcasting, of course, we know tonight we have a simulcast with Money in the Bank and the continuation of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, as we will have Reliable Anarchy with James Hebert and Walter Cruz, it sounds like, covering that. So, again, it's going to be a very interesting Saturday Eve, as it's already been here at Sleep Addicting. But that being said, we've had a lot of fun, chat, shenanigans. Let's go ahead and talk about what truly should be the main event. It is the World Heavyweight Championship. Damian Priest, El Campeon, defending the gold against the former champion himself, Seth freaking Rollins. And it was a challenge made by the champion, who says that I need to beat you, and I can do it all on my own. We've been saying it for a number of times now. Judgment Day for the Judgment Day is to arrive sooner rather than later without mommy keeping law and order here, and Damian Priest taking the reins as leader. But is he really the leader, or is there being an upset in position from within based on recent shenanigans as of late on Monday Night Raw, including one Prince? It too. And to also go along with this, with earlier what was echoed by, I believe, Arlene, there is a bonus point involved here when you consider this is the only singles champion, world championship being defended tonight. You get a bonus point if you're right, if there is an official cash-in made tonight. And by official, bell has to ring. There can be no take back. So bottom line, you got two things to answer here. And Emmanuel, you kick things off. Do we see El Campeon once again rise above Seth freaking Rollins and hold on to his title? Or does he lose it and leave the Judgment Day? And regardless of this result, do we see the men's Money in the Bank winner officially cash in? That is your ultimate question to see who leads tonight with the World Heavyweight Championship. And Emmanuel, you start things off, and then we'll acknowledge Josh Super Chat and go around the horn via clockwise, as always. So, Emmanuel, go ahead and speak.
Yeah, I think we have a new champion. To be honest, this is a way to have the Judgment Day break up before Rhea Ripley's appearance. Maybe this coming Monday Night Raws, because they want to build that up with the business Rhea at SummerSlam. If we could have that, because we need to start that up right away. And Priest being out of it and Liv being in makes the most sense, because Priest is the only one fighting now saying we don't want Liv being part of the Judgment Day. So this will make sense that him being out, he can't control what's going on there. And saying, what decision do you have? You're not part of the Judgment Day anymore. So Finn Balor might take control of the Judgment Day for right now, and see where it goes there, or maybe Dominic take control, because maybe like Arlene said earlier on, maybe Dominic gets inserted. He has the Money Bank match, and whoever has the primary championship, he's the new leader of Judgment Day. And what a way to have Dominic, the third person who joined Judgment Day, be the new leader. I think it's Dominic then Finn, right? Or was it Finn then Dominic?
It was Finn Balor, I believe, after Rhea Ripley, and Dominic came later following that because of the feud with Adam Copeland.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, then yeah, Finn will be the new leader, and we go from there, because I think Gunther versus Seth will sell more tickets there in that match, and Finn versus Damian Priest is a SummerSlam match that needs to be told their breakup and how they disbanded and all that, because Priest versus of Gunther is not really a SummerSlam match, unfortunately. I know there's a story behind it, because Priest called out Gunther like a month ago, but there's more story and more intrigue in that match. So that's why I have a new champion, no cash in yet.
Keyword yet. Okay. Well, JJ, I mean, again, we've kind of seen the evolution of Judgment Day from Adam Copeland to Finn Balor to proverbially Rhea Ripley to now Damian Priest to maybe Finn Balor wanting that former glory. And of course, Finn Balor last year had a trilogy of matches with Seth freaking Rollins over the World Heavyweight Championship, including at Money in the Bank. He even asked at one point for Damian Priest's help, who won the briefcase the same night. And you almost wonder if Finn never forgot about that, and could he cost a campeon here? Or again, is Damian Priest worthy of holding on to this title as long as he had and try to surpass what Seth freaking Rollins started? For the longest time before WrestleMania, you and I were all on board with Gunther facing Seth freaking Rollins for this title, and it seems they're really trying to work towards that. So that being said, who do you think out of these two deserves to call themselves the World Heavyweight Champion, and do you have a cash in to follow?
Well, let me go ahead and give Natalie's prediction first.
Please do.
She says that Seth is going to win, but he is not going to be champion for long. So she's calling for a cash in tonight.
All right. Do you agree with her?
As far as I go, man, like, okay, I acknowledge the fact that Seth versus Gunther is the bigger money match for SummerSlam. But do you really want to hot potato the title? You know, Seth had that very good run to kind of plant the foundation of the World Heavyweight Championship.
Over 300 days.
Lost it to Drew, who lost it to Priest the same night. So we hot potatoed it at WrestleMania.
5 minutes, 46 seconds.
So then we're going to move it to Seth just to move it to Gunther. Whether it is SummerSlam or Bash at Berlin, it's still in August. He's going to have the title for a little over a month if he waits to the Bash. Why? Why not just keep it on Priest, even though that's not as big money of a match, so that you can move it to Gunther without hot potatoing the title? That's where my brain is working, because the whole gimmick with Gunther is the mat is sacred. So we know once he wins the title, he's going to have a lengthy run with it.
No doubt.
But why would you have 3 champions in a 5-month span, a 4-month span? That just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say Priest retains here.
All right.
No, Drew McIntyre was a transitional champion. He had it for 5 minutes and some seconds. Priest has actually been a decent champion. Let's learn the meaning of the word transitional before you put stuff in the comment section.
Overcame Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso so far, been champion since WrestleMania. And again, we all called for him to lose against Drew McIntyre at Clash of the Castle. It didn't happen. But that being said, you're holding out for Damian Priest, holding on for this title a little longer. So you don't see no cash in either, do you?
I'm saying no cash in tonight now.
All right. Look, I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to go to SummerSlam and just go from Michigan to Ohio, with the fact that I might be going full circle with Wyndham Rotundum's creativity and so much more. Nia Jax vs. Bayley, meh. It's one of those things where, again, I will say it until I'm blue in the face. Gunther deserves to be the World Heavyweight Champion in WWE, period. But it's a matter of when and how. It's almost like what happened at WrestleMania. In case of emergency, break glass. What happened post-WrestleMania when Becky Lynch lost the title to Rhea Ripley? They put the title back on her because they needed somebody to use her to put the title on somebody else in the main place. And that's how Liv Morgan is holding on to this title for Rhea Ripley. I don't want to call Seth transitional with what he established with this title. I also don't want Damian Priest's run to feel like, it didn't matter. it's one of those things where I feel like Damian Priest, he has a point to prove, and he's been proving everybody wrong, including the media, where he says literally, all rise for me when I show up. I think just because of that, he needs to do it one more time. And yes, there is that ongoing story. If he loses tonight, he leaves Judgment Day. What is Damian Priest without the Judgment Day? Who truly rules it? Blah, blah, blah. 7th and 1 year later. It almost feels like we are saying we're about triple threat for Bash of Berlin, because regardless, I think Gunther is champion by the end of Bash of Berlin. But for me, it's really hard to look at the end of the day. I get what you're saying, JJ, but what is WWE at the end of the day? Marketing juggernaut, the business giant. I think they are going to go with that agenda, Priest versus Balor, in what will be a Judgment Day Civil War versus the Bloodline Civil War on SmackDown. Bad Blood have a different story, and I think it will be Seth freaking Rollins versus Gunther. I have a new champion, and I think at this moment, I'm going to say that there is no cash-in, but I am going to say Seth wins. As far as what happens next with Priest, we'll see what El Campeon Former is without the Judgment Day. Just saying. All right. Well, Chris, you're on the docket now. So where do you stand with Seth freaking Rollins versus Damian Priest? Again, the champion created this challenge for himself. He's out to prove a point, but does he literally make sure to leave Seth south of heaven, or does Seth burn it down and once again regain the title that he says he must have? Do you have a new champion?
Well, this is the match I'm looking forward to the most. I feel this is going to be match of the night tonight with Damian Priest and Seth Rollins. Hopefully WWE gives them enough time to go out and do what they do best. As far as this match does go, if they do give the title back to Seth, then are you really going to have Seth drop it to Gunther at SummerSlam and hot-potatoing the World Championship? I just don't like hot-potatoing it all the time, because that is like loses his lust as a champion as a whole.
It's always been a secondary title, to be fair, unfortunately, in this
and
WWE.
Personally, with the World Heavyweight Championship match does go tonight, I have Damian Priest retaining. And here's why Damian is going to retain is, what is Damian Priest without the Judgment Day? I know Damian is probably going to go on a babyface run, and I see it happen. I think Damian is going to be on its own, going to be a babyface, but not yet. I just feel that Damian should stay with the Judgment Day until Rhea Ripley comes back into the fold with all this. Seth, he's never going to challenge Damian Priest again as long as Damian Priest is the world champion. But here's the thing. What does Seth do at SummerSlam if he loses tonight? He can't challenge for the world championship. So where does he go from here? That is the big uncertain question going into tonight and after the whole thing gets done going into SummerSlam. So I have Damian Priest retaining, and I am going to go with that bonus question. I feel there will be a cash-in tonight. I think Drew McIntyre said on Monday, he's going to win Money in the Bank. He's going to cash in on the same night, but Drew McIntyre is going to be a fell cash-in. Because everybody is saying CM Punk is going to cost Drew McIntyre again. Well, I don't think CM Punk is going to cost him again, because I've been thinking about this, talking to my brother about this, and I'm going to tell you that I think tonight, we know Drew McIntyre has a certain bracelet on his hand, and it has a dog and a wife. I think tonight one of the biggest surprises at Money in the Bank is I think AJ Lee shows up, and she's the one that costs Drew McIntyre the chance to be the world champion once and for all. And then maybe the next night, maybe Monday on Raw, Drew's going to say, I had enough. I want CM Punk at SummerSlam. And that's what I'm going to say. I got Damian Priest retaining, and I got a cash in tonight. And I have to do my plugs.
I got you, man. Don't worry about it.
Thank you so much, and hope you guys enjoy Money in the Bank tonight, guys.
Appreciate you. You take care and have fun with your friend. And then number 5.
Thank
All right,
you, bud.
Well, anytime, man. That's what I do. I gotta admit, I'm kind of surprised we are kind of parsing here with this match, but he did make me really think about something, Walter. What is Seth freaking Rollins without this title versus Damian Priest not in Judgment Day? We know Seth, he hasn't been a champion before, but I also wonder about Seth's medical condition. Remember, as The Rock said, MVP of WrestleMania, he was literally wrestling since January with a torn meniscus requiring surgery. Now, as far as we know, he got the surgery, but if anyone knows leg injuries, you don't recover from those easily. It takes months and months on end to recover from those, Mr. UFC expert. And here we are in July, where it hasn't even been 8 to 9 months since we've been aware of said injury. And could that come into play here and allow Damian Priest, who already had probably a sprained ankle at Clash of the Castle, retain his title? Maybe they hold off on the Finn versus Damian Priest program until after SummerSlam we get Bad Blood. Because Bash to Berlin, I think, is the stage set for Gunther's moment. But whether or not he goes into it as such or leaves as such, I think it's yet to be determined. And I do think Seth plays somehow in a triple threat confrontation. But that being said, Walter, and I do see your hand, Emmanuel. We'll go to Walter first, then get your thoughts and close with Arlene. Walter, what do you got to say regarding the World Heavyweight Championship? Does Damian Priest retain, and is there a cash-in possibly afterwards? Or yours?
I don't think there's a cash-in. I think there's a cash-in attempt. But whether it's AJ, like Chris said, or CM Punk, I don't think the official, it'll never be official. The bell won't ring. It'll be like an attempt. So the question is whether it'll be official. So I'm going to have to say no.
Okay.
But I think Priest retains here just for the simple fact I don't think they'll use Seth as a transitional champ, because I really do see Gunther being the next champion. And like JJ said, yes, that's a bigger money match, but why hot potato? Your Priest is already established as the champ. And I think this stipulation was thrown in here just to let us know what's going to happen in the future. It's at SummerSlam when he loses the title. The next day on Raw, that's when Priest gets kicked out. So even though he wins the stipulation, he's still not going to be a Judgment Day member after that. So I just see Priest retaining, and then that's going to lead to the Balor Priest storyline after WrestleMania when he loses it to Gunther. And in terms of what Seth can do, I think he's one of the Avengers. I think he's going to be part of this whole bloodline story. So that's where his future is going. He's going to end up being part of Romans. Now, when do they start teasing it and booking it? Who knows? We just got announced Bad Blood. That might be the start of it. And then it leads to the next month in November, War Games. So I think Seth is part of that. So that's where his story arc is going to lead to. He's got to be one of the Avengers to help reunite the Usos, which leads to Roman coming back, which turns heads, and then Paul Heyman's their speaker reuniting the old bloodline, and that's going to be the biggest pop. To hear Paul Heyman get this crazy babyface pop, I'm going to be here for it, because you know it's going to be that. It's going to be all these Avengers, and then they're all going to turn around, and it's Heyman coming out, and the crowd's going to go crazy. So that's why I think Seth is going. So Priest to retain here.
I will say this one more time before we go to Man Who Had His Hand, but then Arlene to close this thing out. Unless someone has anything to say. Again, your predictions are not official till 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. And as cards are to change, predictions are subject to change too. But I think I'm still going to try and stay steadfast in my thoughts regarding this, because at the end of the day, our Emmanuel, while I get your flower before we go to Arlene, I almost feel like WWE's kind of booging themselves in a corner, because regardless, Seth, Priest, or Gunther kind of right now stuck in this place till we see what this world title is going to be for the longevity. And while Gunther will be watching on from the outside, I hope that it does end with Gunther claiming the championship, though. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But Emmanuel, you got to fart real quick. I saw your hand up.
Yeah, just a quick note. If Chris does say AJ Lee does come back, I just want an AJ Lee versus Roxanne Perez on a feature pay-per-view. That'd be something of a money match. That's the one person who I could see dethrone Roxanne Perez. Besides Cora Jade and Julia, but that's a different story. But you have to remember, JJ and Walter, that the tag team championships just was barely crowned with R-Truth and Miz, and then the Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. They both just lost the title just recently. Not that, like, one last week and one this week. So just because they lost them, the title doesn't mean they were transitional. It's just like it's like it feels like Damian Priest's title run has run its course. It's nothing bad that he did. It's just one of those things like we need to it's time to separate the Judgment Day, because then Liv Morgan's statement of saying she wants to take away everything. That means everything, even the Judgment Day, and Priest being there, fighting Liv off. Like that's never gonna happen unless Priest is gone from the Judgment Day.
JJ with the rebuttal.
That's fair, but you've also got to keep in mind that those two tag teams had the belts for about 3 months, which is a big difference to a month and a half.
Yeah.
And if Liv is going to break apart the Judgment Day, it makes more sense to do it at a big show as opposed to a B show.
Despite the fact this has a 2-hour kickoff, which is still
SummerSlam is a bigger show.
The biggest party of the summer is so big they're making it 2 nights starting 2026, and it might be a permanent thing for all we know. God help us. All right. Well, that being said, it's 3 Priests, 3 Seths, including Natalie. Arlene, you break the tie up. Well, you got Liv with the World Championship, and you were kind of seasoning the plants, as far as we know, for the cash-in scenario. So finishes out. The floor is yours. Who leaves the gold, and do you have an official cash-in?
So it goes back to like between Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker and like the championship. There's 2 championships on the line.
Correct.
And who's most likely to lose a championship and who's most likely to retain? Between this one, I said that I think Damian Priest is going to retain. Out of the 2 matches and the 2 titles that are going to be put on the line, I see 1 change and 1 retaining. And this is the match I think it's going to be retaining. Now, I was leading up to this match, I was thinking to myself, okay, I can see this going 2 ways. Seth wins and they kick Damian Priest out, but there's no drama with that, because it's like, okay, you're not a part of it. That's it. Like, there's not really like a storyline to it. So I see the storyline going this way. I feel like Damian Priest wins, and Judgment Day's happy, like, yeah, like, you did it. And then and I know JJ's like, this is not where you turn them, but I feel like this is the opportunity you have to turn Damian Priest at least against him without having to kick him out, because I feel like if he's just out, like, there's no storyline. If you have Damian Priest, I mean, not Damian Priest, but Finn Balor turn on Damian Priest, there's more of a storyline, and they can have that matchup at Bad Blood now that it's been a lead in, so they can talk about how the Judgment Day is attacking Damian Priest in the process, and maybe because of this turn at SummerSlam, he's not going to have anybody, and maybe they cost him, and that's how Gunther wins. because they have already turned on him. So they might like, so see, you said you didn't need us. Well, guess what? We're going to cause you the championship against Gunther. And I feel like I know my brother's shaking his head, but I feel like there's more of a storyline with Finn Balor turning on Damian than just him getting kicked out. Because where's the storyline there? Like, I can see them maybe doing like, he's like them consoling him, like, oh, like, dude, you're still part of Judgment Day, and then turn on him. I could see that happening too, and then that's how you get Seth. But then you have Seth versus Gunther, like JJ says, like, and then just have Seth lose it, like, doesn't make sense. If anything, like I said, I think Seth and Roman might have their match at Bud because that makes more sense, because Seth essentially cost Roman Reigns the championship, and they have to have that matchup first before being able to reunite to become the Avengers, if that's what it's leading to. And so, like, for me, it's like they have to have their match before Seth comes and helps Roman Reigns before anything else. So I feel like they have to have that matchup before then. So, and I don't feel like that needs the title. So that's why I don't think Seth is gonna win.
And looking into the fall season, but okay.
Yeah, so like I feel like those are the matches leading into it, like Bad Blood between Finn Balor and Damian Priest, and then Roman Reigns versus Seth right there.
But what does the Money in the Bank briefcase come into play? Does it come into play for you tonight officially, or does that come later?
See, I didn't pick Drew McIntyre to win just because, like, if he has it and he's already cashed it, like if he wins it and he already called his shot, so it's like it gives plenty of time for someone to show up. If anyone's gonna cost Drew McIntyre this match, it's gonna be during the Money in the Ladder Bank, and a lot of people are saying Money in the Ladder Bank. Yeah. But I feel like, if anyone's gonna come in, it's gonna be during that match than this one, just because of the fact that to me it's like because we know he's gonna do it, and I don't feel like there's like that much surprise. I'd rather be surprised when the person's cashing in, whereas someone's already calling their shots, and people who tend to call their shots are the face, and he's not a face, he's a heel. Last time I checked, Drew McIntyre is. So he's already calling his shots. So it's like people are already expecting it. Where's the surprise? And if he does cash in, it's like there's no surprise because we know someone's gonna cost him. And like I said, Drew McIntyre and CM Punk do not need the title. So I feel like either way, even if he does cash and win, it's like he's not gonna hold the title for long because he's gonna end up losing to Gunther. So it's like either way, it's like, so I don't think there's gonna be a cash in. I think Damian Priest is going to retain, and then towards the end, there's going to be a turn, and this is how you lead to him. Like, okay, you didn't lose a match, but we kicked you out because you don't think you need us, so prove it, and then costing him the match.
All right, that's fair. So the Jezebel breaks the Judgment Day from within. All right, but right now you still have El Campeon retaining. And again, we got about a month till SummerSlam, guys. So let's also keep that in mind. I think this extra caveat condition added to this match just adds more to that storyline of Damian Priest being excommunicated from the Judgment Day. But we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens here and what it means going forward for Seth and Rollins, as again, Gunther awaits the winner at SummerSlam, regardless of result here, who leaves with the gold. Manuel, I see your hand up real quick.
The only reason why I'm checking my head turning, because how many times does Gunther have to prove to you that he does not need help from outside interference to win a championship or any match? You need to get that out of your head that Gunther can't do it by himself.
I mean, he's proven it for 600 some odd days, being the longest reigning Intercontinental champion in this company's history. That being said, you guys are actually in the majority. More people have Damian Priest retaining, 70 to 30%. And they also are 2-1 in believing there will be no cash in. I think with the fact we have a month to prepare for SummerSlam, we're already planting the seeds for so much. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, allegedly. Damian Priest versus Gunther. Seth freaking Rollins versus Gunther. Bayley and Nia Jax is already a thing. Miss Money in the Bank cashing in on either winner. Chelsea Creativity Stratton. Yes, please. Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn being revisited. Logan Paul, LA Knight. and maybe a tag title match just because you got to fill out the card somehow. I don't see Rhea Ripley coming back this soon, though, but I definitely see a message being sent sooner rather than later from the Bringer of Brutality. But I do think tonight's Money in the Bank is going to be eventful for certain reasons. And I do think we're going to be pleasantly surprised to see who leaves with the World Heavyweight Championship. And if another member of the Bloodline shows up, would not surprise me one bit here. It's kind of been the MO for every PLE since the Paul Trace Levesque era started, JJ. Just saying.
That's fair.
Well, that being said, yes, Arlene, I see your hand up.
Oh, I was going to also say back to what Walter was saying about the Avengers and everything like that. I honestly feel like there was some foreshadowing between Cody and Jay when he's like, until we yeet again. I think that's maybe somehow Cody's going to be evolved back into that Avengers thingy and actually end up helping Roman Reigns, which doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but I'm just saying he wouldn't say that just to say that, like that, because they're in different brands. So for them to meet again, they have to join forces, right? So I'm just saying, just throwing it out there that could be a possibility.
Brent split LOL, and Cody Rhodes still, of course, has what he was given by the final boss in his pocket. Just saying that as well. But again, we'll see what we acknowledge tonight. We'll see who achieves Mission Impossible and claims the Money in the Bank briefcase, and if anybody outside the two men on the marquee leaves with the World Heavyweight Championship. So enough. So again, folks, get your predictions in. The form will be in the chat. It's been in the chat. It will be, of course, in the comments down below once this stream concludes here shortly. What are your predictions? What are your favorites? What are your biggest surprises and unforeseen circumstances you hope to see tonight at Money in the Bank? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the chat and in the comments down below. And Mr. Reliable got something else to add here, as it looks like everyone's brain right now is turning gears and thinking. What's on your mind, Walter?
I just want to say, no matter what happens tonight, I just predict this is going to be one hell of a PLE.
I think that's unanimous across the board here and the chat, to say the least. This is definitely one of the more exciting PLEs this year for all of us here. And I think Money in the Bank right now is probably more exciting than ever, considering who we're dealing with. But again, we got about, if you choose to listen to that pre-show, you got 14 minutes. Otherwise, our pre-show kicks off about an hour and 14 minutes. So grab a cold drink, get some great food, and tune in for our alternative play-by-play coverage of Money in the Bank and AEW Collision later tonight, too, as we double feature before we get into our weekly Saturday Night Shenanigans, moderated by this gentleman. But thank you for tuning in for City Predicting. Appreciate y'all so much. Just going to go ahead and look at some of your closing comments here real quick. Statboy approved. Yeah, I wonder who that's by. I think Roman Reigns returns and costs the Bloodline. That's a hot take. Roman does return. The winner of the men's Money in the Bank will cash in on Cody Rhodes. Well, that's a little wild. Defending, well, technically speaking, maybe not. If the sixth man happens after the men's Money in the Bank come out wins, that actually could be something. Yeet and Tippy time. Can't wait. I see Randy turning heel. Should be a fun event. And my real number one pick is Trish Stratus, but no one won't let me. Damn right I won't. Josh, I recognize you. I have high hopes for this event, and it'd be good despite the low amount of matches. Again, quantity and quality and storytelling. Everything you want as a fan of professional wrestling. Damn it. Yes, JJ.
We didn't acknowledge Josh's last super chat where he said he officially changes his pick to Seth freaking Rollins. Says that Balor costs Priest.
Again, do they pull that trigger tonight, or do we wait till SummerSlam? Time will tell here shortly, ladies and gents. But thank you for tuning in. Let's go around and give one's plugs, and then we'll bid everyone to find out do before we come back here for our pre-show during their pre-show too. Been a pleasure, guys, and good luck to all of you on the screen and in the chat too. Arlene, again, love your creativity, love your mind. Good luck as always against your little brother and the rest of the City Predicting community too. Where can people connect to find you?
I'm actually little sister. He's older than me.
Oh, well, now I know. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. I guess I look older than my brother. So I don't know how to take that. But you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm excited to see what surprises Triple H has in store. I'm wondering where this is all going to lead, and whether this championship actually ends the show. I feel like maybe Money in the Bank is gonna. I think the women's is gonna end the show, and then Charlotte Flair comes up because Walter. I forgot like how Walter mentioned, them testing Charlotte Flair's thingy, and I feel like, she's the queen and she sees herself as the main thingy. So I feel like maybe that might end up having a tease right there towards the end. Like I feel like there has to be like a impact. So it makes me think maybe or if there's no turn, I feel like there has to be, the Money in the Bank is going to be the one that ends it. But besides that, I'm excited. See what happens and what surprise guests we get, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of people making surprises.
Yeah, we are in
surprise
Canada.
outcomes.
We are in Canada, where anybody's welcome in Bizarro World, WWE. Well, thank you, Arlene. Appreciate that. Manuel, don't be too tough on her, but good luck. And if you want to plumb up, where can people find you?
Don't tell me what to do. Anyways, Facebook, Manny Dominguez. I know I'm your favorite game night champion.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. The chat knows I'm their favorite champion. They can follow me at EDM7324 at Instagram. I mean, it's going to be interesting because Irene might have something, like what if we're going to get the teaser of Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte at WrestleMania, and that's how you make Tiffany Stratton into a star.
I think you just gave JJ the ultimate outcome in women's wrestling that he would love to see live.
Yeah, and that's the only way to show how Tiffany is more better and more athletic than Charlotte Flair.
Fair enough. Well, again, I think that's just a big match of when versus what if. If anything's possible in WWE, I think that is, to say the least. Shout out to Chris Ferratz again, by the way. You can follow him on the Twix at CRots24, CRots_6472 on the Instagram, and Chris Ferratz on Facebook. Have a great, fun time with your friends. How's my friend? Enjoy the show. Good luck tonight, predictions. Walter, again, your day is far from done as you and James, Reliable Anarchy, will be covering AW Collision tonight as they continue to cover the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. And also, of course, you have your other adventures as well. So go ahead and plug your stuff, man. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, you can follow me at Walter Alex Cruz on Twitter, the at Rage of Wrestling YouTube channel, and Cow Fire Farms is the business Instagram. But yeah, continue to watch us on the Jeff Beecham Network. As you just mentioned, we are doing the watch along for Collision. I also got a lot of the UFCs coming up. So busy time. So stay tuned for everything that's coming up.
Indeed. Appreciate you, Walter. And of course, JJ, you and I, again, you said yourself, it's a 12-hour day. We've already killed about 2 hours. I know we're going to shield throughout the night. So eloquently put, where can people connect with you on the social media? Why don't you talk about at least what's ahead for this weekend to come too?
Well, you can find me on the socials right there, the Renegade JJ Williams on Insta, ROWJJ Williams on Twitter, Casa D18 Studios on YouTube. Got so much stuff in store. Of course, obviously, the Money in the Bank watch along kicking off at 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern. Open mic night immediately following this evening. NXT Heatwave coverage tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. And then so much more as we consider as we continue throughout the week. So be on the lookout for all of that, all the wrestling coverage
and sports
right here across the multiverse.
Simple as that. And again, folks, I'll be with JJ for the call for Money in the Bank and our pre-show. So stay tuned for more on that. We'll go more in depth on the Money in the Bank statistics and also each competitor. Maybe look into each competitor's mindset. As I'm sure they'll have some exclusive interviews worth listening to during this 2-hour kickoff to maybe try and sway people's judgment or maybe give us an idea of who really might surprise us here tonight at Money in the Bank at the Scotiabank Arena. Thank you again for tuning in. The next time we do Simply Predicting here across all the brands of wrestling, again, WWE brings us the biggest part of the summer, SummerSlam, NXT, yet to be determined. Ring of Honor will bring us Death Before Dishonor. AEW will, of course, bring us All In Wembley Stadium. And TNA brings us Slammiversary. So stay tuned for more on that for those official days for Simply Predicting and times to come. And yes.
Do you notice who they still have on the poster for SummerSlam? She has not been removed as of yet.
No, she hasn't.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, wait, is she gonna come back?
Even if she comes back there, I don't think Judgment Day falls apart until Mommy returns.
And to also add further speculation, JJ, I went to SummerSlam last year, and there was a certain bringer brutality on that poster as well that wasn't even booked for the show under Vince's era. Gee, would Triple H actually troll us like that 2 years in a row? Would he actually do that?
Granted, the poster was made before her injury, but they haven't removed her either.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, Dakota Kai returned last year at SummerSlam, although she was still injured, to join an EOS celebration after cashing in the briefcase.
That's right.
And then she remained on television throughout the rest of her injury. No reason Rhea can't do the same.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when Triple H said, and I quote, "Everything in WWE is for a reason." That you see it in the background or on screen, despite that man's QR code from earlier. But that being said, again, folks, as always, wish to encourage you. There are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters, just fans with opinions with this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too. Treasure your fans and just your life and enjoy professional wrestling. It is truly as simple as that. Thank you again for tuning in to Super Ditting. Please subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell as it goes there. Hit the bell to know when the next video goes live on demand on any of our channels here across the multiverse of media. Hit the subscribe button. I show you our creative passion, our commentary, our predicting is not letting up anytime soon. But for now, we're going to give you a bit of an hour brief as we bid you a fine adieu. This has been Super Predicting. We'll see you shortly for our Money in the Bank kickoff show during their pre-show. But until then, as I always like to leave you in the meantime, make a positive impact in life. And whether you are here on the West, the East, the other side of the world, by the end of it, have a good night. We'll see you in about an hour for Money in the Bank. Good luck.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.